This message comes from Schwab. With the new Schwab Teen Investor Account, teens can gain hands-on investing experience and build positive money habits. It's an account co-owned by you and your teen, so you can monitor and engage with the account while your teen learns how to invest and manage money. Learn more at schwab.com.
This is America in Pursuit, a limited-run series from NPR and Throughline. I'm Randa Abdel Fattah. Each week, we bring you stories about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in the U.S. that began 250 years ago. Throughout this series, we've brought you stories from all corners of American life since the founders stated their intentions for this nation. We've talked about the creation of the voting system in the U.S. We've shared firsthand experiences of the Great Depression. And we've looked at the American economy. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're going to listen to some music to help us explore the past, of course.
You can look at any point in American history and understand what was happening through the sounds that were developing at that time. I could borrow a phrase from Questlove, which is music is history, because it is. In my world and in my experience, it is. That is really how I understand the scope of time.
This is scholar and classical pianist Lara Downs. She's been working on her own AP 250 series with NPR, looking at the last 250 years through music.
I realized that classical musicians start our training very young. By the time I was 4 years old, I was already a musician. That understanding of the world by playing music that's 200 and 300 years old. So for me, 250 years, I'm like, yeah, that's where I live all the time.
When you think about it, there really is no better through line to history than music. How songs, the very music notes, are passed down, sampled and recycled, and sometimes turned into something completely new.
Not only do they get passed down, but they get passed around, right? They move among different sectors, and with the constant flow into this country, too, there's just been this never-stopping evolution.
Today on the show, we're going to hear some of Lara's series. 3 stories featuring writers, musicians, and scholars about 3 songs that have defined America. Amazing Grace, My Days Have Been So Wondrous Free, and Get Happy.
What I always say about these songs is that, my great-grandmother knew this song and your great-grandmother knew this song, and they might have lived totally different lives in very different places, and that song, connected them across time and place. And I think that is the superpower of music, is that these songs, they illustrate that our journeys have been shared and our troubles have been shared, and, that we have worked together in many ways to bring this country to the present day.
That's coming up after a quick break.
This message comes from MIDI Health. CEO Joanna Strober shares why they started a virtual care platform for women in perimenopause and menopause.
Our goal at MIDI is to make sure that all women have access to really expert care, starting around 35 and 40, making sure that they get access to all the things that can help them thrive as they're growing older.
MIDI Health, committed to helping women in midlife with perimenopause and menopause care, accessible via telehealth visits at joinmidi.com.
Support for this NPR podcast and the following message come from Carvana. Selling your car? Carvana has offers so good, they're almost inexplicable. Sell your car 100% online in minutes. Visit Carvana.com today.
Support for this podcast and the following message come from Strawberry.me. Be honest. Are you happy with your job? Are you stuck in a job you've outgrown or never wanted in the first place? Are your reasons for staying really just excuses for not leaving? Let a career coach from Strawberry.me help you get unstuck. Discover the benefits of having a dedicated career coach in your corner and get 50% off your first coaching session at strawberry.me/NPR.
Lara Downs has been traveling around the country talking to scholars, historians, and musicians, with music as her guide. The first piece we're going to hear from Lara is an interview with author Iman Perry about the song Amazing Grace.
Amazing grace, how
John Newton, an English clergyman, poet, slave trader, and eventual abolitionist.
Mm-hmm.
He writes this song in the early 1770s.
Yes.
And it's kind of never gone away.
Yeah, it's remarkably resilient.
There are, I think, over 3,000 recordings of this song in the Library of Congress.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every time I hear it, I do ask myself, what is this thing called grace?
Grace is that unearned gift, right? Something divine within that you are born with. And there's sort of a story that the lyrics are a direct response to Newton's experience of being horrified while working aboard a slave ship. So I think we can read in the song this sense of encountering the lowest point of devastation and still having a sense of the divine and possibility, and maybe why the song has a particular power in the U.S. context. This place that's made of dreams and also their deferrals.
Was blind, but now I see.
Grace as forgiveness and redemption, but also this second chances thing.
We don't often think about the fact that the first several generations of enslaved people in this country hadn't necessarily adopted Christianity. And so it makes sense that then in the early 19th century, this song would begin to move into the Black community as Christianity did. It really emphasized the vision of freedom. And so the song, just being a song that comes from the heart and mind of someone who's becoming an abolitionist, it becomes a song that can speak to the descendants of those who were in the hold of the ship.
For me, I'm not a religious person. I define faith as belief in my fellow humans, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And this song speaks so clearly to that. It's open to interpretation, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And I think that's part of what's so wonderful about all of the varying musical interpretations of it.
'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieve.
This project started, as a reflection on this 250th anniversary of the country. So quickly, I understood that this was not nearly as much about the past as it is about the future.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And that history is built on the future.
Yes.
Because everybody who's ever been a first-generation American, that is what they believed in.
My favorite version is Aretha Franklin's 1972. And without question, that moment was about the future, even though she was drawing on tradition in order to sort of propel her voice into what was coming.
And grace, oh, will lead me.
I think Amazing Grace is really one of the clearest examples of this song that means so many different things to so many people, gets passed around, doesn't stay property of anybody.
The way that this particular song is available to Americans is a tradition.
Yes.
I think there's something really meaningful about trying to find the kind of resonance with each person who's sitting across from you. And that does not mean agreement necessarily on anything, but there is value in trying to figure it out. And in order to do that, you actually have to leave open possibility.
Yes, always.
As part of her series, Lara also hosted some live events across the country. Next up, we're going to hear her conversation from one of those events with historian Jill Lepore.
I played this song on a snowy night in a 200-year-old barn in Brattleboro in front of a capacity audience. It's a new arrangement of My Days Have Been So Wondrous Free. Francis Hopkinson wrote the original in 1759 in Philadelphia.
My days have been so wondrous free.
It's often called the first American song because it might just be the first documented, formally notated song written on American soil. Although there were songs long before that, by indigenous peoples, and the music Africans brought here in bondage, songs that dreamed of freedom. I came to this old barn to talk with historian Jill Lepore. She's written a 900-page history of the United States, and she told us that even before the Revolution, America was already a melting pot.
18th century Atlantic seaboard culture was a crazy mix, probably about the most sort of ethnically, racially, linguistically pluralist that the country has ever been. Philadelphia was the biggest city, very English in many ways, but also quite Dutch and a lot of Irish and very German. And then the enslaved population was sizable, but so was the free black population, because by 1759, when Hopkinson was writing, already Quakers had condemned and denounced slavery. So a really wonderfully vibrant culture.
Yeah, the music really starts to mingle right away. People brought what they had when they came here. We all carry songs with us, and Africans brought their songs with them. The seeds of traditional black spirituals like Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen.
Just hearing this music and thinking about how much was suppressed. To think of the music as surviving is just an incredible testament to the vitality and insistence of the human spirit's need for beauty. But I think there's another legacy of that era of great brutality that we also tend to forget, and that is, it's not an accident that the world's first modern democracy is born in a part of the world that is one of the last places where human bondage exists. In fact, it is the cries for freedom, the insistence that enslaved Africans make, and the insistence on sovereignty that indigenous peoples make. And out of that emerges this discourse of rights, that gets us all the way down to the Bill of Rights, and the awareness of an inexcusability of tyranny over other people. That's where the American idea is born, in that crucible of violence.
Is this encouraging, or is this I really struggle with this. It's so hard for us to wrap our heads around this moment, to think about this founding promise. We certainly haven't achieved it. Is the idea just that we're still in the thick of it? 250 years in, and the road is still bumpy. But the only way is forward. Jill Lepore says we definitely wouldn't want to go back.
There's nothing romantic to me about the 18th century. You would die in childbirth, your children would die in infancy, you would live to 24. No. What is really extraordinary is the capacity for the creation of beautiful work and the devising of ingenious ideas in spite of the incredible cruelty and suffering of daily living.
And today, in this anniversary year, the American melting pot of art and ideas is still resilient. At the end, Jill Lepore left us with a lesson from those hard times when America was young.
The generosity of spirit around what it is to lift one another up is an ideal of the revolution that we very often forget and we need in this moment.
So we all bundled up and headed out into the snowy night with new insights about our history and some ideas about how to build our future together.
The last piece we're going to play of Lara's is about the song Get Happy. It was written during a particularly painful period in our country's history. And that's a theme Lara found in her reporting for this series. The idea of smiling through the pain being a part of the DNA of American songs.
I've become so aware of this role that American music has always taken of injecting that joy and that optimism. And once you start to look at that, you realize how all of the happiest songs have honestly come from the hardest times.
Here's Lara's conversation with the writer John McWhorter, the linguist and columnist for the New York Times.
Harold Arlen wrote the song Get Happy sometime in the fall of 1929, within weeks of the October stock market crash that launched the Great Depression. By the next year, the song was in the top 10 on the pop charts.
Forget your troubles and just get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day.
It's such a hummable, optimistic tune in such a disastrous time. And I'm imagining the comfort and energy that came with that song playing over the radio into America's kitchens and living rooms.
The song became a hit when the whole country had just fallen to pieces. And Mickey Mouse is dancing around, and there are these songs that go... But it really was kind of a therapy.
The phrase get happy comes from the Black gospel music tradition. It's a reference to receiving the Holy Spirit with that, ecstatic singing that happens in a gospel church service. When I think about Harold Arlen choosing that title for the song, it really makes me think about the origins of so much of our American music, which comes from those Negro spirituals and work songs that were an outlet for expression and to imagine a better life.
Yeah, it's interesting with Arlen. He was somebody who Ethel Waters called the blackest white man I ever knew. And so he had this feel. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it was Ted Koehler, his lyricist, who actually came up with this Get Happy, I'm sure with the encouragement of Arlen, because he would have probably known the phrase Get Happy.
And I mean, the whole lyric of that song, it's really specifically about, get ready for the judgment day. It's kind of impersonating.
A kind of a spiritual.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
They were really channeling something real. So that Get Happy feels like such a black song that I don't think any black person would feel inauthentic singing it. That's one that just joins America together.
Forget your troubles and just get happy. You better chase all your cares away. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the judgment day.
I hate to bring Arlen into this, but they had this huge pop hit, and probably, both of them bought houses on the basis of it, whereas there were all of these black composers who could have written the same sort of thing. That just has to be said.
Speaking of time and place, in these hard times, there are choices that you have to make about the role that you take as, a dancing mouse, the role that you take in our society. Do you want to chronicle the hardship and sort of interpret this moment?
And you do.
Or do you accept the job of being an entertainer? And do you kind of try to move past your own feelings and try to make that thing that makes other people feel better?
What do you think? I'm asking you as a professional musician.
Well, I think I wiggle around with it. Honestly, I think it depends on the day. I'm thinking about one artist who's absolutely chosen to be a spokesperson for joy, and I think that his whole heart and soul is in it, and that's Jon Batiste. And, since he was a kid busking on the subways, his message is really come together, experience joy collectively, and the music is part of that. He had a song in 2021 called We Are.
We are, we are, we are, we are the golden ones. We are, we are, we are, we are the chosen ones.
And what he's doing with that song is he's evoking the ancestors and their persistent faith in the power of joy. But it's also a song to rally us, our own times of trouble.
The kind of joy that he purveys, there's a little part of me that always thinks of it as a bit of a pose, and I'm wrong.
We're never alone. The country is full of stars.
Sometimes I'm a little bit afraid of those calls for joy, maybe because I am a slightly depressive person, maybe because I think too much.
I think that when things are really dark, joy isn't easy.
Part of being American is that focus on the great day coming, the idea that we are an experiment that's always going on. It's human to try to make the best of the worst. That's how our hormones work in our brains.
We as Americans, we center joy. It's in our founding promise, the pursuit of happiness.
That's it for this week's America in Pursuit. Join us next week when we hear stories of protests in America with NPR's ongoing AP 250 series.
The police came and they shouted and they got in people's face and no one budged.
That's next week. And stick around after the credits for something a little special. A short story about how one tiny accident created a new, big sound. This episode was produced by Kiana Mogadam with help from Amy Padula and edited by Liana Simstrom with support from the Throughline production team. Music by Ramtin Arablouei and his band, Drop Electric. Special thanks to Julia Redpath, Irene Noguchi, Yolanda Sangweni, Casey Miner, and Lindsay McKenna. I'm Rund Abdelfattah. Before we go, here's NPR's Jennifer Ludden with one final story about an important moment in American music history.
In a glass case at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History sits Dizzy Gillespie's trumpet.
Notable for so many reasons, not least of which is its angled bell, which was kind of the trademark.
We'll get back to why the bell points up. Music curator Crystal Klingenberg says the man and his instrument were an American original.
And it's one of many examples of where American entertainment has just burst forth with something new and special and reached the whole world.
In the 1940s, Gillespie, with his signature puffed-out cheeks, helped forge a new jazz era. Edgier, faster, complex rhythms called bebop. The State Department enlisted Gillespie and others as Cold War jazz ambassadors to win hearts and minds abroad, even as they faced racism at home. In 1955, after Gillespie and Ella Fitzgerald played to an integrated audience in Houston, they were arrested on trumped-up charges of gambling. Klingenberg says the photos of them in jail are incredible.
Dizzy's kind of hanging out, being dizzy. You see Ella Fitzgerald in the most beautiful, elegant gown. Like, she's not meant to be there in the lockup. Why is she there?
Despite such pressures, on stage, Gillespie was charming, playful, funny. That sense of fun came through when, in 1953, his trumpet first got bent.
Accidents happen on stage, and it fell.
He picked it up to play and decided he liked the strange new sound, so he had his trumpets custom-made that way. As testament to his nearly 6-decade career, Klingenberg first saw Gillespie as a child watching Sesame Street.
He was that warm kind of jazz grandpa.
A circle of kids bop and sway, entranced by the gray-haired man with the funny-looking trumpet. Jennifer Ludden, NPR News.
This message comes from Mint Mobile. If you're tired of spending hundreds on big wireless bills, bogus fees, and free perks, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/switch. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
This message comes from NetSuite. They say that every day your business is late to AI, you fall 2 days behind. Fortunately, there's NetSuite Next. NetSuite Next is where your business meets AI because AI is built into everything you do. It automatically surfaces custom insights throughout your day. AI agents work alongside you to solve problems. It's just like you're having a conversation with a colleague. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, try NetSuite Next for free. Go to netsuite.ai/story.
As America marks 250 years, remember, we the people make a free press possible. Together, we hold the powerful to account with reporting for the public, funded by the public at plus.npr.org.